In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Carb pizza is what you want. You need to check realgoodfoods.com. Taste is amazing. Oh yeah, it's the bomb. You need to check realgoodfoods.com. Free shipping online and in Kroger stores across the U.S. realgoodfoods.com. Woo!
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. Here's how you can engage in the content live, because we do this live on the air on Instagram. So go follow me on Instagram at Living Low Carb Man, LIN, as I turn it around again, LIVNLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage live in the content, just like all of these amazing people are doing right here, right now. If you missed the live, you can watch the replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, it does disappear, but never fear, I got you covered. Hop on over to YouTube, type in a keyword search, Jimmy Rants, and you will find the show. Finally, we have a Jimmy Rants podcast, which has the best moments of this here show in podcast form on Stitcher and Apple Podcasts. JimmyRants.com is the website. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about this notion that when you go on a low-carb, moderate protein, high-fat, ketogenic diet, that you have to do everything that you hear out there in the blogosphere, in the social media sphere, in the podcasting sphere, all of these voices telling you, if you're going to be good on keto, here's all the things you got to be doing. So they throw out things from obviously starting off eating real whole foods. Nobody's going to squabble with that. Keeping the carbs low, moderate the protein, increase your fat. Although there might be squabbles about that. Some people say, well, you need a little more protein if you're still losing weight, and then you increase the fat once your weight's stable. So you hear that kind of stuff. Then you hear about taking appropriate supplements that you need to be taking while you're eating keto. Then you hear about, well, no, you need to also be adding in exogenous ketones into the routine. Oh, but then somebody else, you need to then implement periods of intermittent fasting and then really long fast. And the list goes on and on and on of all these things that people think they have to do when they go keto. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody that's been keto for a very long time, and what I want to talk about here today is don't rush that natural progression that happens on keto. I think the main thing that most people need to get is you got to get off the junk. And so I think back pretty often to that former Jimmy Moore, 410-pound Jimmy Moore, way back in 2004, when I went on the Atkins diet. And if you had told me at that time that in order to be successful eating this way, I had to eat grass-fed, organic, wild-caught foods, and those foods only, that I'd have to give up all diet soda, or all soda, including diet soda, that I would basically have to subsist on just meat and vegetables, I wouldn't have done it. And I think we have to be honest with ourselves in the keto community that you've got to meet people where they are. And if you don't meet people where they are in their journey, then they'll never get to the point where they want to try intermittent fasting. They want to try some of these other, another one of the things that people, I need to do carb ups, especially if you're a woman. I need to do carb ups so I don't bring an imbalance to my hormones, yada, yada. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about this natural progression that takes place. When you go keto, and yet people hear everything out there online, oh, I need to be doing this, this, and this in order to be good keto. When I'm making the argument, let's meet people where they are and then let that natural progression take place. So let me show you what it looks like. So 410-pound Jimmy Moore, if you'd have told me I would have to do all those things, I would never have done it. So what did I do? When I shifted over, I was a Coca-Cola-aholic. I was drinking upwards of 16 cans of Coca-Cola every single day. And so you tell a person that's drinking 16 cans of Coca-Cola a day, he can't have any soda at all? That wouldn't have worked. So what did I do? I switched over to about 8 to 10 cans of diet soda a day. That was my transition, you guys. Okay? So then I used to eat fast food and junk food, Little Debbie snack cakes. I talk about that pretty often. And how did I replace those? Well, I replaced those. And again, don't judge me because this was 2004 and I was still learning. But I replaced those things with like Atkins bars and other such lower sugar options. I also, instead of the fast food, would make my own fast food at home by having bunless hamburgers, obviously, but also taking like deli meats and American cheese. And I know American cheese isn't real cheese. I know that now. But think about where people are when they start. They're not in a good place. And just to get them to make some move in the right direction is so critical. It's why it breaks my heart every time I see somebody that's brand new to this getting chastised up and down on social media. Thank God there was no social media. I think MySpace was around when I first started, but no social media around to judge me on my choices when I decided to go low carb for the first time, because I don't know if I would have survived, because it's brutal, the judgment that people give. And these newbies are just trying to figure things out. It's one reason I love hearing from newbies to this way of eating, because I can speak from firsthand experience to those guys and go, look, here's the main thing. Keep your carbs low. Okay, once you kind of keep your carbs low for a little while and you're rolling on that, then let's add in, all right, let's clean it up to make it mostly real whole foods with keeping carbs low. Yeah, you can have the occasional treat, but keep the carbs low. Add in the real food. Okay, you get that going. All right, now let's dial in some of the macros just to make sure they're right where they need to be. Maybe you start testing ketones to see where you stand. You see how it's this methodical progression that's very natural that takes place the longer that you do this. And I think if we try to hurry along people's journeys, that's where they get frustrated and that's when they give up. Where we need to be okay, hear me loud and clear on this one, we need to be okay with good enough for people that are just starting keto. Because if they're not interested in changing all of those things all at once and yet they're carbohydrate restricting, we need to encourage that. Because here's the thing. Once you start feeling the benefits and the health effects, the positive health effects that come from carbohydrate restriction, you're going to want to do more. They're going to come back to you. And I know we've got several keto coaches on here. Clients will come back to you and go, oh my goodness, this has been amazing. What else you got for me? And they're ready at that point. But we can't hurry this process along, because if you try to throw, oh, if you're not eating grass-fed meat, you're doing it all wrong and you're hurting the environment, and you're hurting your health and the grain-fed, and it just frustrates people to no end. Why are we doing that? I don't put up with that. I say we encourage those people and applaud them for making steps in the right direction. I know there was a lady locally to where we live. We were helping out. Christine and I were helping out. And she's like, I only have a half a Pepsi a day now. And I'm going, okay, that's a great step. She was having 3 or 4 of them a day. but she's having a half a Pepsi. Is it ideal? Obviously not. I keep trying to urge her, switch over to diet, at least as that transition, because her body will never fully get the benefits of getting into ketosis if she's still putting high fructose corn syrup into her body. But it's baby steps, so we're encouraging her along the way. You know, if you give up that Pepsi, that half a can of Pepsi, I always wonder, what's she do with the other half can? Does it go flat the rest of the day? I don't know what happens, but half a can of Pepsi. If she gives it up, she'll actually see even more benefits. So that's the lesson I want to share here today is let's go along with people on their journey and be that buddy to them. Obviously, if they're doing something egregious like having, binge eating on donuts or whatever, obviously that needs to be corrected and explained why that's a bad thing. But if they're moving in the direction of healthier choices, why are we going to judge people? I know it's in vogue to be judgy of other people's keto these days. Let's buck that trend and not feel like we have to be hyper aware of everything people are doing and judging them based on those choices. And some people judge me based on what I'm doing now with the Keto Carnivore. Where are the vegetables in your diet? I have a mission in mind of what I'm doing. It's all animal-based foods. Deal with it, So, but not everybody has that strong personality that could counter that, and people will get upset. And they're like, well, if they're going to judge me because I'm not eating grass-fed beef, then I'm just going to go back to eating crap. Is that what people want? Is that the end goal that you desire to have happen with these people? I don't think so. I think most of us generally want other people to progress along naturally along this keto journey into what is perfect for them. And for some people, that may fall into a less than what we would consider perfect diet. And we got to be okay with that. If they're seeing results in their health and they're feeling better and they're generally doing really well, why are we going to judge them? Why would we not applaud that? So that's what I wanted to talk about here today. Let's not rush that natural progression of keto. And I want to see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here, you guys. Another episode of Jimmy Rants. Josh says, I'm stuck in Minnesota. Can't rush anything in a snowstorm. You're hilarious, Josh. Bullock in 2018 says, keto is just too simple. Yeah, that's a good point. It is simple, but I think the simplicity of it sometimes allows people to ignore the power of it. Because it's simple doesn't mean it's ineffective. Simple means, oh my gosh, you can do this. Pretty much anybody can do this. And it's delicious and you feel great. But people go, wait a minute, it can't be this easy, because they've always had the notion that going on a diet is hard, because if you eat low fat, that is hard. If you cut your calories, that is hard. But yeah, it's a revolutionary way of eating that people, they miss because it is too simple. Kimberly says, don't rush that. Let nature be in control. Our bodies will only do what it wants. I've tried to rush it and my body revolted. Yeah, Kimberly, it was good to see you and your family last night, Kimberly, at the West Virginia event. From personal experience, when you try to rush things along faster than what your body is ready for, it doesn't respond well. So let it all happen. I'll tell you what happened for me with fasting. I used to think fasting was the other F word. And I would say it in that many words. I don't know about fasting. But when I started keto, it just happened naturally. I just went long periods of time between eating. I'm going, whoa, I haven't eaten in like 18 hours. And I'm okay. It's amazing. And then I'm going, okay, well, I went 18 hours. Let's see how my body does 24, and does great. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see if we can naturally progress to maybe like a 72-hour fast. And that's where it started to get a little harder. But the point is, when the body is ready to make a change, it will tell you. And you'll know, okay, I'm ready. I've read Real Food Keto. I've learned all about the importance of micronutrients and getting those into my body, I want to start adding in the grass-fed beef element, or start with organic eggs. Those tend to be the easiest. Better yet, get your own chickens if you can. And those are the baby steps that move you in even the further direction of health. So what am I doing these days that continues on that furthering of my health? I am being very proactive about stress reducing kind of activities, because I've dialed in the diet. Everything's good there, and everything with that has been good for a while. But I'm doing other things outside of the diet to help with the health. So stress management techniques is what I'm working on. And doing some other biohacks, things like infrared sauna and some cold therapy. Maybe I'll do another Jimmy Ranch where I talk about a lot of the biohacks that I'm doing that are helping to make this body as optimal as it can be. Grandma Does Keto says, someone just asked me how I get electrolytes. I use Redmond's and Redmond's sea salt, or salt, real salt, and real whole foods. That's about it. Yeah, it's silly, Grandma Does Keto, how they think you won't get electrolytes. A lot of the keto foods, avocados, have all the potassium you would ever need in your diet, and you eat those on keto. Magnesium you can easily take as a supplement, but there's plenty of magnesium in a lot of foods as well. Salt is very easy to get into the diet, and of course water. Drink, and drink some more. How do I subscribe to the Jimmy Rants podcast? So if you go to Apple Podcasts or you go to Stitcher, just look up Jimmy Rants. You'll find the show and you can access it there. Any move in the right direction, says Josh, no matter how big or small, is a good thing. And Josh, we need to celebrate those things, don't we? We need to encourage those people that are making a decision. I mean, I think so much about 410-pound Jimmy Moore and where my state of mind was at that point. And if people came in all judgy, I'd be like, screw you. I'm just going to keep eating McDonald's and Little Debbie and Coca-Cola, and I would have never made a change. Is that acceptable to anybody? I hope not. Any change for the better is good. Listen to your body, adjust as time goes by, and you learn more, Ashton says. Yes, constantly you will learn more. You got to be listening, though. Can you repeat what you said about deli cheese? What's the best cheese to clean up your diet further? So, Sharon, thank you for that. So, sorry, I probably said that so fast because my brain was going fast. So, American cheese is what I was referring to. That is not real cheese. That is and it'll tell you right there on the packaging, it's a cheese product. So, a cheese product is not real cheese. So, yeah, pretty much any cheese that's full fat is probably just fine on keto. If you don't have a dairy aversion, that is. Every person's situation is different. Maybe they can't afford grass-fed or organic, but if they are doing what they're able to do, ultimately making better choices, it will support them. Yes, Ashton, that's exactly right. I mean, when we first started, I think I made like $18,000 a year. It was horrible income. And it was all I could do to just afford to buy deli meats at that time. And you meet people where they are. And once they get going, and the carbohydrate restriction is such the key in all this. Yes, there's so much more to it than just that. But if people just carbohydrate restricted, forget food quality, forget all the other stuff, just carbohydrate restricted, they're going to get most of the way there of what we're trying to explain here. Obviously, you want to add in the other elements as you're ready, but that is the first and foremost. Fisher of Men says, going to end a 7-day fast today. Can I start with a steak and salad? Well, not a big one. Just be careful with that. We shouldn't be judging anyone on the way they eat. Josh, quite frankly, I don't give a crap about what anybody else eats. They're grown adults. They can choose to put what they want in their mouth. And I would hope that same respect would be afforded to me. What I don't like is the assumption that because you look a certain way with weight on your body, that you're automatically eating donuts. Somebody put that on YouTube, on a Jimmy Rants YouTube recently, where I did a rant. And at the end, he said, well, it's obvious that when you got done with this Jimmy Rants episode, you went and ate a whole box of donuts and some other crap. And I'm going, why is there this assumption that that's what someone that looks like me would do. But it was pretty funny, actually. Mimi Mary says, great advice. I will do better at encouraging others on their keto journey. And I mean, it's something that it's so simple for us to do. And it's so easy to be judgy, because here's what happens. Somebody posts, oh, here's what I'm doing on my keto. One person, all it takes is one person. One person says, well, that's not really keto. Well, that's not the way to do it. You're really just going to fail yourself if you keep doing the. So guess what happens when one person shares the hate? It has an echo chamber effect. Oh, yeah, that's not, no, don't do that. No, that's bad. And you get 10 comments from that one comment. So what I want to do is let's set a new precedent. Let's tell people that they're doing a great job. And then I want people to go in and echo the great job type of comments. And we totally ignore those people that are what I like to call turd balls, and let them wallow in their hate. Whereas we envelop people in love and kindness and compassion and respect. Things that I talk about quite a bit here on Jimmy Rants. Sam says, standard American diet didn't work because nothing is standard. So same with keto. We are not standard people. I like that comment. I think we have to always be mindful that we have ways of eating that can lead us to great health decline, and we have other ways of eating that allow us to see a great health improvement. So finding that eating plan that helps you improve, if that's your choice, is what you do. Dr. Joe says 5 months in, still hungry all the time, even when eating lots of fat. Just learning to accept my body doesn't allow me to fast. Maybe one day, but I won't stress over it. Well, I don't think that you necessarily need to be fasting if you're still dealing with hunger despite higher fat. I'm more than happy to help you, Dr. Joe. Definitely send me a direct message, because a lot of times when people say that they are eating lots of fat and then I see what they're actually eating, it's not lots of fat, but it's your perception that it's lots of fat because of the low fat lie that has been put out there. So definitely send me a direct message. Would be happy to take a look at your meals that you're eating that you think you're eating massive amounts of fat. So send that to me and I'm happy to help you. Keto is somewhat forgiving. I used the good to better to best steps, says Bullock in 2018. And that's the way you do it. You definitely see this progression of starting off with just good enough, and then you want to make those changes. Do you suggest your new book with Christine, Real Food Keto, or Keto Clarity for a newbie? Oh, Keto Clarity by far. Not that I don't think Real Food Keto would give them great benefit, but if somebody doesn't know anything about keto, the whole reason I wrote Keto Clarity was an entry level into this way of eating. So then once you get the basics of keto, which is what we did in Keto Clarity, then you can start reading some of these other books that are out there, like Real Food Keto and other ones that are out there, to add to that knowledge. But if you don't have a base of knowledge, which is what Keto Clarity gives you, you don't know where to go. Fasting before keto was nuts to me. Well, John, I agree. Fasting should never come before keto, because if you're not doing keto, you're a sugar burner pretty much. And so if you're primarily a sugar burner and you try to go fasting, that 2,000 calories worth of energy on your body as a sugar burner will not allow you to fast without pain. But if you go keto and you become keto adapted, you now have 100,000 calories worth of energy at your disposal that allows you to easily fast for 24 hours for most people that are very well keto adapted. C-Doc says, keep it simple, and you know the other S. Keep it simple, silly. How about that? Sharon says, goes back to, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Yeah, manners, people. I love that. There is an objective sign if one is in keto. Blood keto levels are the best. We are all different, says C-Doc. Yes, we are. All right, guys. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is, let's not rush to judgment anybody that's on keto, and let's allow that natural progression that happens when you switch over to eating low carb, moderate protein, high fat. Let that happen in people's own timing. And I think if we show more love, kindness, compassion, and respect, we're going to see very great success stories come out of that. Because again, had I not been given the opportunity to just simply carbohydrate restrict first with whatever crappy things like diet soda or American cheese or conventional mayonnaise, all of that stuff helped me in the early days of doing this. Had I not then, because I felt better doing those things, then added in the next element and the next element and the next element in my own timing, I would not be here today talking to you on Jimmy Rants. So let's be that encourager for other people. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. You'll see how the fun works. Over on Instagram is where we start. So if you're not following me there, go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage in the content live, just like all these people did here today. Thanks for being here, you guys. You can also watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, it is available up on YouTube. All the past episodes on YouTube, type in Jimmy Rants. You will find the show in that or a Google search. You can find the show. Finally, the Jimmy Rants podcast is on Apple Podcast as well as Stitcher. JimmyRants.com is the website. So until next time, we'll see you then.